Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking some genuinely fascinating source material to decode a question that, honestly, almost all of us eventually ask ourselves: what does it actually mean to live a useful life? We're going to break down some incredible insights drawn from deep philosophy, psychological research, and even modern productivity frameworks. And the goal here? To help you align your daily actions with your deepest, most authentic values. Let's get right into it.
But before we jump straight into the solutions, I really want you to ask yourself, is your crowded calendar actually meaningful? Seriously, think about it for a second. We live in this culture that just moves at a relentless, honestly exhausting pace. We're constantly rushing from one commitment to the absolute next. But how often do we actually hit pause and consider if this frantic pacing is genuinely fulfilling? Or are we just caught in this modern trap, mistaking the sheer volume of tasks we check off for the actual value of our existence?
Take a look at this comparison, because it perfectly illustrates the core conflict we're facing today. We've been completely conditioned to mistake busyness for true utility. As you can see on the left, busyness is all about efficiency, endless task lists, and that frantic pacing we literally just talked about. It's basically the accumulation of empty gestures. But then, look over on the right. True utility is defined by the quality of your impact, your intentional alignment with your values, and a steady, meaningful contribution. We've been taught to think these two sides are the exact same thing, but man, they couldn't be more fundamentally different.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Escaping the utility trap. Reclaiming purpose from the machinery of efficiency. The source material makes a super powerful point right here. Basically, the word utility has been totally hijacked by efficiency. It's been reduced to this dry corporate synonym for just being busy. Our modern obsession with checking off tasks leads us to function like these high-performing cogs in a machine. We're racing toward a finish line that doesn't even actually exist. And mostly, it's just to clear our inbox so we can, receive more emails, right? We completely lose sight of the fact that a truly useful life is not a checklist. It is an intentional existence. Moving right along to Section 2, Redefining True Usefulness. The alignment of deep virtues and daily actions.
Now, here is the absolutely crucial point. Utility is not a measure of how much we do, but a reflection of the quality of the impact we leave on the world. I love that. It completely shifts our entire focus from quantity over to quality. You see, true usefulness requires self-clarity. It means actually spending the time figuring out your core values, whether that's connection, creativity, or justice, and then deliberately choosing actions that reflect those values out in the real world.
Which brings us to Section 3, Values and Sustainable Self-Care, the architecture of sustained impact.
All right, this brings us to a frankly toxic myth that we have all been sold. We are so incredibly used to treating rest as a reward, right? Like it's this luxury that we only allow ourselves after absolutely all the work is done. But a true framework for useful living demands that we shift to viewing rest as a strategic necessity. Why? Well, because burnout is literally the ultimate enemy of utility. A depleted mind and body simply cannot offer anything of substance to the world. Prioritizing your physical health, your sleep, your genuine downtime, it is not selfish. It recharges your emotional reserves so you can actually sustain your impact over the long haul. You don't rest just to feel better. Actually, scratch that. You do feel better, but you rest to ensure you have the capacity to meet the world's needs.
Let's look at Section 4, Connection and Moral Ambition. From micro-utility to solving global gaps.
So according to the Harvard Study of Adult Development, which by the way is the longest-running study on adult life in history, the #1 single strongest predictor of our health, happiness, and longevity is not professional achievement, it's not wealth either. Any guesses? It is actually the quality of our relationships.
And that leads us perfectly into this concept of the micro-utility of the inner circle. A lot of times, we tend to think of usefulness in terms of these grand, sweeping, societal changes. But the sources remind us that utility is profoundly local. Just simply being present for the people who depend on you, nurturing your family, your friends, your neighbors with active empathy and real listening, that is a huge foundational form of utility. Honestly, your most significant impact often happens right there in your own living room. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we scale that impact outward. Historian Rutger Bregman introduces this pretty radical concept called moral ambition. For those of us looking to expand our usefulness beyond just our inner circle, Bregman argues that we should be channeling our unique skills away from the endless pursuit of mere status or wealth. Instead, we need to aim them directly at solving neglected, real-world problems.
But wait, not just any problems. Bregman sets 3 very strict criteria for moral ambition.
To find that exact intersection where your unique talents meet the world's actual needs, you want to look for problems that are 1. Sizable, 2. Solvable, and 3. Neglected. This is going to require some rigorous self-awareness. You basically have to identify your strengths and then go looking for the specific gaps in your community or even the wider world that everyone else is just ignoring, but that you are uniquely equipped to help fix.
All right, moving into our final section, Section 5, Performing a Meaning Audit, the asceticism of attention and regular recalibration. The very first practical step here is adopting a low-information diet. In our current age of just constant, deafening digital noise, intentionality requires serious focus. We're talking about the deliberate reduction of trivial digital inputs. You know, the endless social media scrolling, the non-essential notifications buzzing in your pocket all day. And listen, this isn't just some basic productivity hack, it is essential mental hygiene. By setting these boundaries, you literally reclaim the mental space needed to focus on your core projects. It allows you to act with greater virtue and dedicate your energy to things that will actually outlast the 24-hour news cycle.
Once you've finally cleared out all that noise, you can perform a meaning in life audit. It's like a checkup for your purpose. Step 1. Rate your current level of connection across the key domains in your life. We're talking work, community, relationships, and even transcendence or spirituality. Step 2. Identify where that alignment is missing. Where are the gaps? And then Step 3. Take concrete action to fill them. Like, if you lack community, go join a local hiking group. If your work feels hollow, maybe volunteer to mentor a younger colleague. It's these concrete, everyday shifts that take abstract philosophy and turn it into a lived reality.
As we start to draw this explainer to a close, Ralph Waldo Emerson offers us a seriously powerful reminder. He said, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. The search for happiness as an end goal, it's often incredibly shallow. True meaning is frequently found not in the absence of struggle, but by actually embracing it. Choosing to be compassionate often requires us to trade our immediate, short-term comfort for the much deeper, lasting satisfaction of actually making a difference."
So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to carry with you today. Living a useful life isn't just some achievement you unlock. It's an ongoing process of conscious effort. So when your journey is eventually viewed in its entirety, will your legacy be the volume of what you accumulated or the depth of what you contributed? Really think about how you'll spend your time tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this framework helps you build a life of profound, lasting utility.